Hey everybody, Shane here, Shoebox Legends. Thanks for tuning in today for an episode that is dedicated to Ken Griffey Jr. This guy was the titan of the hobby during my youth when I was involved. I became involved in baseball cards in the spring of 1990. Of course, the first set that I ever collected, 1990 Topps, had his rookie cup in it. His 89 Upper Deck card was just tearing up the hobby. He was the hottest player in the game and certainly in the hobby throughout my childhood. And I have a lot of fond memories of collecting Ken Griffey Jr. And I've been focusing kind of on that for the first couple months of the year. Fits an overall theme, which has been going back and revisiting those stars of my youth and those cards of my youth in some cases. And I've ended up with a nice stack of Griffey pickups here that we're going to look through in today's video. These are all new within the last couple months. But before we get to those, I have a couple in the background here that we've been looking at. The first is a card that I've talked about before, the Super Nintendo card from 1994. This came packaged with the Ken Griffey Jr. Super Nintendo baseball game, which I adored as a kid back then, played incessantly and helped me learn so much about the game of baseball. That is a sneaky, awesome card. Love the backstory there and all the memories. And then this is one that I don't think I've shown before, a short print Legends variation from 2017 Topps Update. Just love this shot of the kid at Comiskey Park operating the camera. Just a really cool candid photo. I miss these Legends short prints in the flagship Topps set every year, but back in 2017 they were still doing them. And that's a fun card that you can find honestly for maybe between $5 and $10. But let's get into the new stuff here. We're going to start with a couple of buybacks. You guys know I love buyback cards. They continue to be a passion for me in the hobby. They have been for more than a decade now. And Seller recently has put up a few different Griffeys. I think the majority, if not all of these, actually came from the same seller. And we're going to start with arguably my favorite, the 1997 Topps Griffey. And this is, as you can plainly tell here, from the 2024 Topps Originals Advent buyback program. These were in the Advent boxes that went out late last year. I love this one for a couple reasons. First of all, incredible image. Which is the case for a lot of Griffey cards. You can tell he just went yard here and is admiring his work. But secondly, and even more importantly, this represents, in my estimation, his best season that he ever enjoyed on the diamond. And I'm a huge fan of cards that represent players' best season or significant season. So I was happy to snag this one. And then lastly, at card number 300, and the reason this is not in a case at all, this is destined for my buyback Franken set. It is going to be booting out, I believe, a 1989 Topps Darryl Strawberry, and in its place we'll have the 97 Ken Griffey Jr. Now, sticking with the buybacks for a moment, have one more Topps, standard Topps buyback. Another great image here. This is a 1999 Topps Griffey that was reissued as part of the 2017 Rediscover Topps buyback promotion. Love these. Was able to acquire his 89 Topps traded rookie in Rediscover Topps buyback format this past winter. Was one of my most satisfying pickups of 2024. And happy here from the same seller to add the 1999 buyback to the collection. Another just stellar image there. The horizontal card format works so well with this one. This is card number 100, and crazily enough will not make the Franken set. Actually have a better number 100 buyback, but I'll take any Griffey that I can get my hands on, even if it's artificial scarcity like this, I don't care. That's just a really cool card that you probably won't see elsewhere. And then I've got a couple of Allen and Ginter buybacks next, or a few, I guess. So they did a buyback program in 2015, Allen and Ginter. It was the 10th year of the set, and they did these 10th anniversary buybacks. So they would buy back, or they bought back, previous Allen and Ginter cards from those first 10 years or 9 years of the run, stamped them with these foil 10th anniversary issue stamps, and then reissued them in packs of 2015 Allen and Ginter. And they did the full-size cards like these and also framed minis. So on the full-size front, was able to find this one. This was originally a 2012 Allen and Ginter, and it's a great shot here of Ken with the Mariners early in his career. You can tell this is a very young Griffey. But just dig these buybacks so much. There's not really any known information about the population of these, but I can tell you, you just don't find them often especially for big, big name players like this. And for me, I put Griffey on my hobby Mount Rushmore. I think he was the guy to represent the hobby from really the late 80s when he broke in all the way through the 90s and beyond. And a huge Griffey fan. And then here's the other full-size A&G buyback that I got. And this one is cool. Although he's with the Reds here and I prefer his Mariners stuff, this is his 2006 Allen and Ginter. And that was the first Allen and Ginter set from Topps, 06. So this is the first Allen and Ginter Griffey, but in buyback format. This one looks even better. I love the more simple design this year in Allen and Ginter, where they didn't have like an ornate border, but it's really just the painting and some very simple graphics down below. Stunning looking card, and this is the only buyback example of this that I've ever seen, so those were pretty cool. And then from the same seller, maybe a couple weeks later, that I bought those full size from, he listed 2 of the framed minis. So check this out. This was a 2013 Allen and Ginter mini that it was framed, stamped, and then reissued in 2015 A&G. Same buyback program. I love these framed minis even more than the full-size cards. Great shot here again with the Mariners. And this one just happens to be graded by CGC, got a fine 9, and was able to work out a bulk deal that included this card here and the next one that we're going to look at. Snatched them both up at the same time, and I'm really, really happy with that. And the other one is a similar framed A&G buyback. This was from the year following the one we just saw, a 2014 originally, which you can see down here. Stamped, framed up, and then reissued the following season in 2015. And this one actually graded out at a CGC 10, which I don't care about the grade. These are so scarce that I will truly take them in any condition, but nice side bonus there to get the 10, I guess. So 2 really, really awesome minis. Always on the lookout for any Hall of Famers in that Allen and Ginter mini buyback format. So if you have any of those in your collection or encounter any, I am highly interested. And then we're going to close out with a pair from arguably, or one of at least, my favorite modern parallels, Topps Black, which was famously looked as though it was killed off here in 2025. And then Fanatics stepped in and announced that it is coming in Series 2. These started all the way back in 2003. Very low serial numbering for flagship, plain black border every year, and the serial numbering increments by 1. Now, what's interesting, I have a pair of these that I won in a recent auction. And because this started in 2003, this parallel, Griffey was already with the Reds at that point. And as most of us know, he did go back to the Mariners to close out his career at the tail end there. And he received 2 flagship Topps cards with the Mariners to close out his career. One of them was this one here. This is a 2009 Topps update, and apologies for any glare. I did already put this in a protective case. So this is his 2009 Topps update. Back then, they actually called the set updates and highlights, but same concept. And it is the black parallel. And again, theme for today's video and for so many Griffey cards, fantastic image. Love this mid-swing or late swing image here. Just fantastic. As I said, I really do prefer the Mariners stuff to the Reds. I will grab Reds cards as well. We saw one of those in today's episode, but the Mariners cards attract me the most. That's how I remember him as a kid, when he was larger than life, and I was a 7 or 8 year old getting back into the hobby for the first time all the way back in 1990. So great one there. And then the final card of his career came in 2010 Topps. I was also able to acquire that one at the same time from the same seller in Topps Black format. These are both in PSA 8 holders, which I'm actually really excited about because had these been graded a 9 or above, there is no chance I would have afforded either of them. But thanks to the assigned grade of 8, was able to get the pair for way less than what even one of them probably would have cost me in a 9. I was actually really surprised at how reasonable these were to acquire relative to his status in the hobby when I was a kid, at least as far as I remember. The 2009, you can see here, and again, apologies for the glare, was numbered to 58. And then as this increments one every year, the 2010 was numbered to 59. So this would be my favorite, the 2010. Again, another great image. And I'm just a huge fan of final Topps cards for these legends and players. So In the same way that I have his 89 rookie, I love having kind of a scarce, hard to obtain parallel of his final card that came over 20 years later. So that is the final pair that I had for today's episode. Again, just some kind of unique cards of somebody who was an absolute monster in this hobby, and I think still is, in my opinion, and thought it made sense to group them all together, finally get them in here on a video. I have tons more content coming soon, and hope to be posting a little bit more frequently as my schedule lightens up here into the spring. But for today, thanks for sticking with me for over 10 minutes. Hope you enjoyed these Griffey cards, and as you know, I'll be back soon. Till then, keep enjoying the hobby, everybody. Take care.